guys, my name is Zivai and welcome back to my channel Made for Purpose. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode of Tea Time with Zivai, where I meet with successful individuals, visionaries and purpose leaders who are going to spill all the tea on how you can become successful in your purpose. So today I'm joined by Christian Nyakanyanga, a South African cybersecurity entrepreneur, real estate investor, and international public speaker. Christian, thank you so much for joining us and welcome to Made for Purpose.
Thanks for having me on your show, Zivai.
You're
very glad
welcome.
to be here.
You're so welcome. It's our privilege. So I've been following your entrepreneurship journey for a pretty long time now, and I particularly became interested about 3 years ago when you started your current cybersecurity business. But I'm sure a lot of viewers would want to know how you actually got interested in entrepreneurship.
Well, Zivai, I didn't get interested in entrepreneurship. I just grew up in an entrepreneurial household.
Right.
So all around me, I was always surrounded by entrepreneurs. At any point, mother had a job, mom had a job, dad had a business, or mom had a business and a job. So you always kind of grew up around that environment. So I've always been entrepreneurial without even knowing that I'm entrepreneurial.
I see. It's in your blood.
It's in my blood. So along the way, I've started a few businesses. Start some, fail some, you learn, you get up, you keep going. And now this is probably my fourth or fifth business.
Okay, but it's quite successful. I must say from what I've seen.
Well, to date, it is the most successful to date.
Oh, okay. Speaking prophetically, I like that. It has to become better and better than the last. Okay, so for people who are business-minded or aspiring entrepreneurs who are watching, what gave you that push to actually just full-on dive into entrepreneurship?
So, like most people, I was stuck in a dead-end job. I went to a lot of interviews, and I wasn't getting the job that I wanted. I wasn't getting the numbers that I wanted. I wasn't getting the benefits that I wanted. And as you get older, you realize that at the end of the day, it's going to be just another job, even though you get the benefits that you want or whatnot. So I decided it was time to jump out. I'm young, I'm single, and with children. This is the right time for me to take that risk, as opposed to getting another job and then 2 years down the line, you hate it again. And then at that point, maybe you can't change it. So that was kind of the driving force behind me becoming an entrepreneur. And I just said to myself one day, if certain things happen at work, I'm just going to leave. If they put me on the client, I'm going to go. So I started preparing my exit for about a year. I was preparing my exit, and then when the time was right, I pulled out of the workforce. Okay,
so did you have kind of like a nest egg? Did you have a
you always think you have a nest egg until you jump out. So I had a nest egg, but when you actually go out, your 6-month nest egg turns into 3 weeks, so to speak. So I started the business because I started many businesses before that. I knew the process of starting a business, the kind of building blocks that you need to put into place to start with. I tested it a little bit before I actually left. So by the time I left, I kind of knew. It wasn't running 100%, but I kind of knew what I would be doing. And so by the time I left, I had 1 or 2 customers, not a lot of customers, 1 or 2 customers, and then I went with those customers.
Okay, so, and this was a business, and was this current cybersecurity business?
Actually, no. When I left my job, I had 2 businesses. I had a
serial entrepreneur.
Right? So I had a small business IT. That's the name of the company. We did IT support for small business IT. So the thinking around that business was that because I grew up in IT, I've always been in IT. My default business is IT support. I can always help people with IT support. So it's always something I can lean on if things get tough. So I started that business, and I was also doing forex trading training as well. So I was doing both businesses, and I did those for about 4 or 5 months or so. And they didn't come out. They didn't do well. They did well actually, but cybersecurity started to come along a bit more and gain a bit more traction faster. And it's a field that I've always been in as well, so it was easy to get into.
So from speaking to you previously, I know that you are, and knowing you personally, I know that you're a man of faith, you're a man of God, you're Christian, believes in Christ Jesus, and all of that good stuff. And when you describe your journey, you say that in 2014, when you made that leap, for you it was a step of faith, but it was a step of blind faith. Talk to me about that.
Well, when I left, I didn't know where my next paycheck was going to come from.
Yeah.
I didn't know if the customers that I had lined up were actually going to pay me money to do the things that I thought, they would pay me money for.
Yeah.
I didn't know if I'll be in business a year later, 2 years later, or if I'd had to go back.
Yeah.
So, but I just decided that I had to try.
Yeah.
I thought as if I had to give it a shot.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things that I thought that looking back when I'm 50 or 60, I didn't want to regret not trying.
Exactly.
I thought, okay, let me try right now, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. What's the worst that could happen?
Yeah. So even with no guarantee, you still
with absolutely no guarantee, I'd still went out. The only guarantee I had was that I had started many businesses before.
Yeah.
Even though they were successful, there were glimmers of success within them.
Right.
You try something, then it doesn't work, then you think to yourself, maybe if I change that, it'll work. Then you try something, it doesn't work, but so eventually by the time I got there, I knew I had something in me to make something work.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of probably lining things up, yeah.
So how did you end up moving from what you were doing in IT to cybersecurity?
Well, before I was employed in cybersecurity.
Yeah.
IT, cybersecurity, it's kind of a branch of the same tree. So I was employed in cybersecurity. I was a cybersecurity consultant for one of the big 4 companies.
Okay.
And it's something that I always did. So when I left and started my own thing, most of my customers started calling me back.
I see.
Some of my customers started calling me. I never thought they'd call me back. Why would they call me back? They remember me from the big 4. But surprisingly, they started calling me back and I started doing work with them.
Yeah.
And, they just started trusting me to deal with the big accounts and to do the big work. Yeah.
So you started small, basically, and you started with your experience.
Yeah, I started with, again, you start very small.
Yeah.
I remember the first piece of work that I got was probably £30. No, actually, probably about £15.
Right.
Okay, that was the first piece of work I got for doing IT support. And it was so cheap that the customer paid us £20.
Okay.
Yeah.
They felt sorry for you.
So they're like, but what? This doesn't cost this much,
Yeah.
But it was a learning
Yeah.
process. I knew that I'm going to be learning.
Yeah.
The customer asks you, how much does this thing cost? I have no clue. I gave them a number.
Yeah.
They bought the number.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, someone is paying me to do this. And little did I know the number was very low. So that was the very first contract. And then just to multiply that by 1,000-fold as you go along, that's just, part of the journey, yeah.
Right, okay. So you said something about that, it really intrigued me.
Yeah.
You said something about, you had no guarantee.
Yeah.
But then the only thing that you knew was that you just had to try.
Yeah.
Because what's the worst that could happen?
Yeah.
If it failed, you just go back to your job anyways.
Yeah.
And one thing that I, speaking to a lot of people, talking about purpose and vision and that kind of thing, speaking to a lot of people, there's some people who seem to think you have to have all the answers before you actually go out and start the business, write the book, do something.
Yeah.
But you're saying all you had was your previous experience and just your motivation, and all you could see was the step right in front of you.
Yeah.
So was it a situation of, you were trusting God to then order your steps? Was it a situation of you knew exactly, where your purpose was leading you? You knew exactly where your vision was leading you?
Yeah.
What was that process?
I knew nothing exactly.
Right.
The only thing I knew was that I had this feeling inside of me. I had this gut feeling that said, go and try that out. And with each breath that I took every morning that I woke up, I knew that this is something that I have to do. I was convinced.
Right.
Just scary, just daunting, but I just had I just trusted my gut to say, this is something I have to do. I don't want to regret it.
Yeah.
I was caught, like I said, I was caught in a situation where I knew that if I don't do this now, I'm going to regret it later for not trying.
Yeah.
So I'd rather try it and fail and then not regret it later. That's all I knew.
Right, okay.
And in life you go through many situations, maybe business or otherwise, where you go with your gut. And I think after a certain age, you learn to trust your gut.
Right.
Because it doesn't matter what your gut tells you. It doesn't matter if your gut leads you down the wrong path.
Right,
but it's satisfying to know that you followed your gut and you don't regret it so much. I regret more when I don't follow my instinct.
Exactly.
So this was a matter of, my instinct is telling me right now is the time. I feel like this is right, and then I did that. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that a lot because one of my favorite scriptures is, trust in the Lord,
Yeah.
and He will direct your paths.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can actually just go into something so headstrong
Yeah.
and put your all into everything, and it's the wrong move.
Yeah.
But the fact that you're trusting God, I believe that He will then order your steps, even if you can't see 20 years down the line. He will then order your steps and bring you full circle round to where He wants you to be. And it sounds like that's what happened to you. You started a business in IT, but then that went down the drain, and then God led you round to cybersecurity. But then the important thing was you took a step and you trusted Him.
So I think the reason why my steps started getting illuminated one by one as I went along was because I had the vehicle ready.
Right.
Because I still believe today that if you want God to bless you in certain areas, you need to have the vehicle ready.
Right.
So I was out in business.
Right.
Even though I'm now in a different business, but I'm still in business. Whereas God couldn't bless me with that purpose or with that vision or those steps of a cybersecurity business if I wasn't in business to begin with. He couldn't open those opportunities for me as an employee. So He needed me to be a non-employee. So I might have responded differently and gone into a forex trading business, a small business IT business, but at least now I'm available to do the work or the bidding.
Exactly. Okay, that's really. I really like that. Actually, that's a really good takeaway. Okay, thank you so much for that. So what are three key things that you'd like to share with our viewers, that you've learned, that they can take away from?
3 things that I've learned as an entrepreneur.
As an entrepreneur and just in search of, your purpose.
3 things that I've learned. I think the first thing, or number 1, is to always continuously search and learn. Search to improve yourself, search to find out why you're here, what you're supposed to do, and then question everything. That's the only way you'll find your purpose and you'll find those answers. Because if you don't search, you don't find it.
Exactly.
And I think I can call it number 2, be willing to fail or not find anything in that search.
Right.
Because it doesn't mean just because you look for it, you find it today.
Right.
But as long as you fail, you look for it, you fail, you try something else, you get up and you keep trying. It sounds a bit cliche to say, if first you don't succeed, try again. But that's actually what you have to do. So keep searching and keep trying. And I think the third and most important thing is to surround yourself with, like-minded individuals.
Right.
Surround yourself with the people that are either also searching or people who have found what they're looking for, so they can guide you down that path. So if you're trying to go into business, find other people who are either already in business or trying to get into business.
Right.
So that that community is what will support you. That and again, when you're by yourself, it's one brain, but when you've got a community, there's a lot of people thinking how to progress. So I think those 3 things: keep searching to find out what you're passionate about, what you like, or where you're supposed to be heading. And number 2 is don't be afraid to fail. And if you do, get up and keep moving. And I think the third thing is to surround yourself with a community of like-minded individuals.
Yeah, that's some good stuff. Some really good tips. Thank you so much for those. The last thing, last but not least, this is something that I forgot to mention as well, but I picked up on whilst you were speaking, and in my introduction that I did of you. You are now dabble in real estate. You're now an international public speaker, and these are doors that have been opened by your step of faith. You stepping out of faith. Now other doors have been opened. That's a really important thing. I feel like sometimes, like you said, you need to be available. You need to be available, and then God will start to bring all these things your way, all these opportunities that maybe you didn't even think of. Did you ever think that you'd be an international public speaker?
Not at all.
Did you ever dream it? Maybe.
I mean, I dreamt it.
Okay.
I visualized it, because there's also power in visualizing where you want to be, where you want to go. So I did visualize it, but I didn't think it would happen. You think it would be great to be this person. If I was this person, if I was the international this, I would do A, B, C, D. This is what my day would look like. Oh, so great. But I don't know if you actually
think you would.
It seems almost impossible. But
that's so awesome.
Yeah.
Christian, Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for sitting down with the Made for Purpose viewers. I'm sure everyone has had so much goodness to take away from. And until next time, guys, see you later.